Hello, everybody, and welcome to Clearing the Bases. As always, I'm Anthony Sosa, and with me is my co-host, Will Felton. So, we're talking what's new in crazy trade deadline, Will?
Definitely a crazy trade deadline this year.
Teams making big splashes everywhere.
Big wheels.
So, obviously, the Blue Jays made the biggest splash in the trade deadline. They got the best pitcher and the best hitter on the market in David Price and Troy Tulowitzki. We didn't even know Troy Tulowitzki was going to be available. I mean, what do you think about that?
It was a shock to everybody. I mean, not just the fans, but also the teammates of Tulowitzki in Colorado. Everybody was surprised by
Even
it.
himself.
Even himself.
Yeah.
We were hearing for the past couple of years, maybe the Mets, but I mean, we kind of forgot about him since that nothing ever really happened. And out of nowhere, the Blue Jays, out of anybody up in Toronto, get Troy Tulowitzki. That was a great pickup. Great trade.
Very big pickup. And David Price there, they needed an ace. We said that in our last show. They need an ace. And, I mean, David Price is the type of pitcher that can elevate your whole starting rotation. I mean, Mark Burley as a number 2 isn't bad. And R.A. Dickey there, too. So their rotation's pretty solid now. And you also noticed they had a few other pickups that you think are going to help.
They had some sneaky hot pickups. Ben Revere from the Phillies. That was a huge pickup. I mean, I didn't even know until I was watching their game that he was on the team. And you can put out the leadoff spot. You can put him in the 9 hole to have a double leadoff. He's so versatile that you can put him anywhere you want. And also, LaTroy Hawkins came with Troy Tulowitzki from Colorado. And they need some veteran leadership out of the bullpen. As we mentioned, they needed pitching, both starting and out of the bullpen. And he's going to do big things for that team.
Good points made. And another team that made big splashes, we're talking Houston Astros, who are now leading the AL West. Picking up Scott Kazmir was huge, I think, for them. I mean, people, I think, really underrate Kazmir. He's got the best ERA in the American League. Some people will say that he was really good last year for the A's up until this point, and he started to kind of fade. But, I mean, his July, he allowed 1 earned run. So, I mean, that's going to help big time. And they also picked up Carlos Gomez, and he was going to the Mets.
He was, yeah.
And then now he's with the Astros. They picked up Mike Fiers. I mean, what do you think about the Astros pickups?
The Astros had some good pickups. You kind of forget about Kazmir because it happened like a week before the trade deadline, but I mean it still counts. So it was a great trade. And then Carlos Gomez, that whole thing with the Mets, and he was told that he was going to the Mets, and then about an hour later he was told he wasn't going to the Mets anymore because of like a physical. They didn't like what they saw or something, and because he's been having hip issues, but he's still been playing and everything. And then next day or 2 days later, he's off to Houston.
The Astros.
So that was a big trade by the Astros, definitely.
Well, the weird thing is that Gomez said that he's not hurt. He said there's no problem at all. So I mean, I don't know what's going on there with the Mets, but the Mets did pick up a good bat in Cespedes.
Definitely.
Do you think Cespedes is what the Mets need though for that struggling offense?
I think that he's going to contribute a lot, but I think they need a little bit more than Cespedes. I mean, they have a really bad offense, but Cespedes will definitely drive in some runs, hit some home runs, get some excitement in New York, but they actually need some bullpen help, I think.
Okay, yeah. Wilmer Flores also, who thought he got traded for Gomez, he stepped up, hit a walk-off home run. I know he had that whole crying incident, but still, I mean, I think he can actually help the offense. He's had a pretty underrated year. He's a good shortstop, so we'll see how Cespedes affects that Mets lineup. And lastly, a team that made a big splash is the Kansas City Royals, picking up Johnny Cueto and Ben Zobrist. Out of those two guys, well, who do you think's the bigger impact?
I think Cueto is. They need an ace. I mean, Ventura's been having a terrible year, and they needed a Cueto. And Ben Zobrist, I mean, I'm not too hot on that trade, honestly. I think they give up a little bit too much because he's just a rental for 2 months, and they give up two really good prospects to the A's. Who's one of them has already made a start through Aaron Brooks through 7 1/3 innings. Had a great start for the A's. I think they just gave up too much.
Okay, yeah, I understand that, but I just feel that Ben Zobrist, is the type of guy that can play anywhere. So if you have a key injury towards the end of the season or maybe in the playoffs, he can fill in there. I think he's that type of guy that may help the Royals win a World Series. I mean, we'll have to see, obviously. But those are the big splashes that were made. And now we're going to recap our predictions that we made in July. Both of us got 2 questions correct. I got 2 right from our original July predictions, and Will got 2 right from our trade deadline predictions. The 2 I got right were the Yankees leading the AL East, and I also got 4 Royals starting in the All-Star Game lineup.
And I got Cole Hamels going to the Rangers and Johnny Cueto going to the Royals.
Hopefully we'll have more success in our August prediction. So our first prediction is going to be, what day will the Blue Jays pass the Yankees for the division lead?
I'm going to say August 19th. They play the Yankees in 2 series before that. And on the 19th, they end their series with the Phillies, who are, I think, the worst team in baseball. Mm-hmm. And so I think by August 19th, they will have passed the Yankees in the AL East.
Okay, yeah, I'm thinking it's going to be later. I'm going to say around August 27th because 6 games is quite a bit to catch up. I mean, it doesn't really seem like it. I guess if the Yankees struggle a lot in that time, but I don't see them struggling much. So August 27th, I think, is going to be the day. Our second prediction is going to be who's going to be leading the MLB in home runs come September.
I'm going to go with the sneaky hot guy down in Detroit, J.D. Martinez. He has 29 home runs right now. And, I mean, he just hits bombs. Like, not that many people talk about him because they got Victor Martinez, Miguel Cabrera. Mm-hmm. But J.D. Martinez, he can definitely take the lead over Trout and Pujols right now. And I think it'll be him.
Okay, that could happen. But like you said, Mike Trout. Mike Trout, best player in baseball. His power numbers have really came out this year. I don't see him slowing down at all. So I know the wrist is kind of affecting him a little bit, but I don't think it's going to play that big of a factor. I think he's going to stay up top there. Our third prediction is going to be how long will Clayton Kershaw's scoreless inning streak last? He's at 39 right now.
Yeah, I'd say it's going to go to 45. He's going to go 6 shutout and then give up run in the 7th in his next start.
All right. I'm going to say he only goes about 4 more innings. So 43 innings he's going to make it last. But who knows? With the way he pitches, it could be a lot more. Our fourth prediction, who's going to be leading the NL East by the end of the month?
I mean, I just got to go with the Mets. The Nationals aren't playing up to their potential this year, and the Mets are just hanging around. I mean, they're doing a great job. I still think that they have some room to improve, obviously. But I think that the Nationals might kind of choke at the end of the year. And so I think the Mets, as long as they stay around with Cespedes now and that pitching staff is unbelievable, I think they'll take the lead, or they'll be in the lead come September.
I agree. What you said right there, the pitching staff. Pitching helps you later in the year, and their pitching staff is above the Nats. Hard to believe, but I mean, it really is. And also, Bryce Harper, in a quote today, said he didn't give a crap that the Mets had a 1-game lead. He said that he knows what kind of team they have. So right there, I'm kind of thinking that they're a little cocky and they think they already have this division, even though the Mets are leading. That's just what I'm getting from it. But I see the Mets still leading come September. And now we're going to make our last prediction, which is going to be which 2 teams from each league are going to take the wild card spots going into September.
Starting with the National League, I'm going to say the Pirates and the Nationals. I think the Nationals and Mets are going to have a run for it coming down in the stretch in August. But I think the Mets, obviously, like I just said, are going to take over, and the Nats will be in the wild card. And for the AL, I think it's going to be the Yankees and the Angels, 2 of the best teams in the American League, and they're in tough divisions, and I think they'll come out with a wild card come September.
For the NL, I see the Pirates taking it. They've already got a 4-game cushion, and they clearly look like the best team in the NL besides for the Cardinals, so I see them in there. And I also see the Cubs. I see them sneaking in there. They're a good team, and they made a lot of good acquisitions in the offseason, and they played really well so far. So I think both of those NL Central teams will make it. And then for the AL, I see 2 West teams making it. I'm going to say the Angels and Rangers. The Angels right now, they're in a little bit of funk, but I think they're going to get out of it soon. They're a good team. And the Rangers, with that Cole Hamels acquisition, I see that playing a big factor. And I think that they got a good shot. I don't think anybody else in the AL is really that good. There's good teams, but I think the Rangers could pass them. And we'll have to see once our August predictions wrap up. And the score right now is 4-3. I'm leading. So we'd like to thank you for watching Clearing the Bases, and we'll see you next time.